What up, reader fam? Today I'm bringing you my October TBR, and today's video is sponsored in part by Penguin Random House, HMH Teen, and Harlequin Teen. October is here, the month of Halloween, and I've got quite a few books that I want to read this month, but I've narrowed it down to 5 books that I know that I will for sure be getting to this month because I feel like that's a manageable amount. I honestly don't know how people set 20 books to read within a month. Like, how do you do it? Are you a magical being? You probably are. Like, props to you for being able to stick to a book list that long. I wish I had your skills. Can I have some of your self-discipline? Because I really need some of that. I'm actually really proud of myself because I stuck to my TBR last month and I read all of those books, minus one. I'm still working on The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, but I'm almost done with it. But normally I'll set a TBR and I'll read none of the books. So maybe something in me has changed, who knows? At the end of this video, I'm also going to mention some new releases that I would really like to get to this month, but honestly, there are so many new releases coming out that I know I will not be able to get to all of them. Without further ado, let's get started. Here are the books that I am planning to read in the month of October. First up, here I have the Booksplosion Book of the Month for the month of October, which if you don't know what Booksplosion is, it's this monthly book club that I host with Kat from Catty-tastic and Kiersten from Pullin' Bananas Books. Each month we pick a book, and at the end of the month we have a live show book discussion for that book. And our pick for the month of October is Grim Lovelies by Megan Shepard. This book follows this girl named Anouk who is a beastie, and you might be wondering what the heck is a beastie. A beastie is when an animal is turned into a human form. So Anouk used to be an animal. I'm not sure what kind of animal she used to be, but now she is in human form. And while she's really excited to be a human, she's kind of jealous of people who get to go out in the real world and just live their lives as humans, because Anouk is being held prisoner by the person who turned her into a beastie. She doesn't get to go out there and experience life like normal people do. She is locked up. But one day the person who gave her this form ends up murdered. Anouk's first thought is freedom! But then she quickly realizes that her human form was attached to that person, and she now has 3 days to figure out how she's going to survive. I feel like this will be the perfect read for October. We follow these different beasts, these different creatures. It's got kind of this gloomy feel to it, and I enjoy reading gloomy books during this month. If you're gloomy and you know it, clap your hands. What am I even doing right now? There's also witches in this book, so talk about the perfect Halloween read. And the way that the witches use their abilities in this book is really interesting. Basically, they have to consume lives in order to maintain their magical abilities. So I'm pretty sure they can eat like bugs and it'll give them magical abilities, and they can eat animals and it'll give them magical abilities, and they can also eat humans and it'll give them magical abilities. But if I remember correctly, I think there's a price they have to pay when it comes to consuming those lives. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Either way, I'm really looking forward to reading this book. If you want to join the Booksplosion crew, all you gotta do is pick up the book, read it, and join us for our live show at the end of the month. Next up, I have the Booksplosion Book of the Month for the month of November, and I really should hold off and wait to read this book in the month of November since it is our November book of the month, but I just can't hold myself back because this is a book that I really want to read. Like, I really want to read it, guys. And that book is Shadow of the Fox. This story has a lot to it, so bear with me. This is gonna be a hard one to explain, but I'm gonna do my best. I solemnly swear to do my best. So we've got this great kami dragon that was summoned 1,000 years ago to grant one terrible wish. The wish that was granted was that the land of Iwigato, which I know I am incorrectly pronouncing, I cannot find a correct pronunciation for that word, but regardless, the land of Iwigato was to be plunged into an age of darkness and chaos. So now the person who gets their hand on the scroll of 1,000 prayers will be granted a new wish. We follow our main character Yumko, who is half kitsune and half human. One day her homeland is burned to the ground, leaving her adoptive parents dead. She is forced to flee the land, but she ends up fleeing with something super sacred. She got her hands on that sacred scroll. She ends up coming in contact with this guy named Cage, and he would do anything to get his hands on that scroll. And he's unaware of the fact that Yumko's got that scroll. Together the two team up and form an alliance. This book is filled with Japanese lore, which if you're new here, hi, hello, I am obsessed with Japanese culture, so that alone has me super stoked for this book. I've been wanting to read more books that are rich in Japanese culture, so dear Lord, please let this book deliver that. My Japan-loving heart needs it real bad. This also just sounds like it's going to be a fast-paced and action-packed story, and you can just go ahead and sign me right up for that. I really just want to read this book right now, even though I know I should hold off reading this book for a little while. That way it's fresh in my mind for the November Booksplosion live show. We'll see if I'm able to hold off though. Next up here I have a very large expanse of of C by Tahereh Mafi. This is not the actual cover, this is the real cover. This is an arc of this book. This book actually comes out on October 18th. This story takes place in 2002, a year after 9/11, and we follow our main character Shirin, who is a Muslim. She is now having to live in this world that's completely prejudiced towards her race, religion, and the hijab that she wears on her head. She becomes this big target for extreme racism and discrimination. Due to these experiences that she has to deal with on a daily basis, she's kind of put up this big wall. She doesn't want to let anybody into her life because she knows that they'll just end up hurting her. She's closed herself off from meeting new people and having new experiences. That's when a boy named Ocean comes into the picture, and he's trying everything he can to break down this wall that Shirin has put up. But she knows good and well that if she lets him in, it's only going to be the cause of more pain and suffering, and she just can't handle that. This book sounds incredible. I know it's going to be a really emotional one, but I also know it's going to be such an important read. This will be the first time that Tahereh Mafi has ever put out a contemporary story. We've seen her put out so many different stories. She's had middle grade fantasy, she's had young adults dystopian, and now we're getting a contemporary story. And I love when an author decides to kind of delve into different genres and release new things. I continue to be impressed by Tahereh Mafi and the fact that she just continues to come out with books that are different from the ones that she released before. I feel like her writing style will suit a contemporary story really well, so I'm looking forward to that. And I know that this book is really important to her because I know that she's based it off of experiences that she's had growing up. I'm really looking forward to reading this one because I think it'll be a really eye-opening book. Next up, I have here The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. I'm in the mood to read a book with a dark and creepy vibe, and I feel like this is the book that will deliver that. So this story follows our main character Elizabeth, who is an orphan and ends up moving in with the Frankenstein family. They provide a home for her. Victor Frankenstein and Elizabeth become inseparable. They depend on each other and they care for each other. If you're familiar with the original story of Frankenstein, then you know that Victor gets himself into a bit of a sticky situation with the experiment that he's working on. And with this story, we see that with a fresh set of eyeballs. So essentially, this is a Frankenstein retelling. It's mostly just retold through somebody else's eyes, which I think is pretty dope. Frankenstein is one of my favorite classics, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what Kiersten does with this story. It's finally officially the Halloween season, even though there for a while I was like, every month is Halloween leading up to Halloween. And I feel like this is a fitting story to read during this season. It's a freaking Frankenstein retelling for Halloween's sake, and hopefully it's gonna feed my need for the heebie-jeebies. The last book that I know I will for sure be getting to in the month of October is A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. If I don't end up reading this book in the month of October, then I am a reader sinner. I have already started this, and so far so good. It feels really nice to be back in this world, and I can't wait to get deeper into the story. If you don't know what this book is, it's a continuation of the Miss Peregrine's trilogy. Even though this is being looked at as a new trilogy, I feel like it's just a continuation of the series. I mean, we follow the same characters, so in my eyes, it's a continuation. I'm kind of savoring this book because I don't want to read it too fast, because when I finish this book, I'm gonna have to wait another year or maybe even 2 years before the next book comes out. Because Ransom's not somebody who releases books year to year. He releases books like every 2 to 3 years. So I'm gonna take my time with this because I know that when I finish this book, I'm gonna have to wait forever until the next book comes out. But either way, I can't wait to get deeper into the story and find out what happens. So those are all the books that I know I will for sure be reading in the month of October. But I did also want to mention quite a few of the new releases that are coming out. These are books that are coming out that I really want to read, but I don't know if I'll be able to read in the month of October, but I still wanted to mention them. We've got Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, the final book in the Throne of Glass series. It's finally going down. I can't believe it. Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. A Sorrow Fierce and Falling by Jessica Cluis. Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. And What If It's Us by Adam Silvera and Becky Albertelli. There are just too many books coming out that I want to read. Will I get to all of them? Most likely not. But I really hope that I'm able to get to a few of them. So those are some of the books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of October. You guys should let me know down below in the comments some books that you are hoping to get to this month. Also, let me know down below a new release that's coming out this month that you are stoked for. I want to know, so let me know down below in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos frequently on this channel, so if you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe, or go and click the little bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew.